Greetings everyone, we are Team 14 and our topic is e-waste to eco-win.
We are going to analyze the role of smartphone recycling taxes and environmental and economic benefits through shared responsibilities of companies and consumers. And I'm Tina.
And I am Joanne. And this is our content. So why do we want to study this topic? Well, mobile phone has become an essential part of our life, but few people know how their broken phone or laptop ended up too. The reality is it becomes an enormous pounds of electricity waste and also called as e-waste. According to the UNEP, at 2015, the number was soared to 120 million tons, which is the fastest growing form of garbage in the world. So what does this amount of e-waste look like? Well, it weighs same as 600 billions of smartphones, and most of these old devices are sending to the developing countries such as Africa, West Asia, and China. And worse still, workers are exposed to this toxic environment which can harm their health badly. Taiwan, for instance, sells about 5 million of smartphones, but our recycling rate is only about 12%. So we create a recycling tax system that's lead from government and business and consumer affect each other, which shares their both responsibilities.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about why we should impose the tax on corporate and why we do this research. So firstly, our plan is based on existing international system. We refer to EU's WEEE directive and South Korea's CPR regulations, which require electronic product manufacturers to take environmental responsibility. Companies that do not meet recycling targets may face fines. Thus, we want companies to take responsibility for mobile phone recycling by asking them to pay the recycling tax. And about our corporate tax, recycling tax, there are two. The first one is carbon emission. We will mainly use Apple's LCA life cycle assessment data, which usually shows a carbon footprint about 70 to 80 kilometers per phone. And we will use a tiered carbon tax as our cost calculation model. This method prevents excessive taxation on large brands while encouraging new brands to enter the market. And we have also designed the three taxes level for adjusting tax rates based on environmental performances. And for the second one, it's market share. We'll use data from Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs and mobile phone retailers to determine market share. And we will use market share with environmental performance weighting as our cost calculation model. And we will also consider in this model consider the company's recycling rates and encourage brands to increase their recycling efforts. So thus, by combining these two models, we will create our final tax calculation formula, which is our corporate recycling tax.
And I will discuss our recycling tax policy that we create. And first, why do we want to tax our consumers? Well, it was because it can make consumers realize their actual impact on their mobile phone using habits. And also, it can discourage consumers to change their mobile phone consistently. So I will use your 4C analysis to show you that this can not only be a consumer's burden, but also have some good impact. The first one is we will use the money to supporting durable phones so that consumers don't have to change phone consistently just because it's broken. And also we will create a fair tax system. And the second one is cost. We will have some tax reduction, like which I will explain to you later, and consumer repairing phones also can be cheaper. And the third one is a convenience one. Consumers can use online to pay taxes or check some information, which don't have to be too complicated. And the fourth one, which is the most important one, is that we will use government to collaborate with mobile brands and also advertising on social media to emphasize environmental protection and also show some real life benefits. And our tax structure design is based on, the money is based on the original mobile phone prices. And we will are taxed yearly, and after 5 years, consumers don't have to pay any tax. And this is some tax reduction example. For example, if this guy use their own devices, recycling them, and to purchasing their new phones, he will have 50% off as the next year rent, next year tax. So it will only need to pay $750. And we also have some repair reduction, like this guy spending $3,500 on repairing. So this year, he only need to pay $750 on tax. And what if this guy originally bought a second-hand phone? Like this guy, he bought a 2 years old mobile phone, so he can have a 60% off on his tax. So he only need to pay $900.
So this is our impact and applications of recycling tax system. So actually, besides ensure that companies and consumers take responsibility of recycling their phone, we also want to analyze the economic impact of this tax. So firstly, our main goal is to develop a local mobile phone recycling industry. We do not want to send electronic waste to developing countries because environmental pollution elsewhere. And that's why we need to study the current e-waste recycling system and its data in Taiwan, improve it, and try to create our own green circular economy. Of course, government subsidies will be needed to help business participate in this kind of plan reasonably. And the second one, we must consider consumers' opinions. To reduce resistance to the tax, we will introduce incentives. We will offer better deals for trading in old phones to encourage recycling and work to lower repairing costs. We will use economic models to find the best balance between subsidies for recycling and tax revenue, while also gathering feedback from consumers and phone repair businesses. And over time, in the long run, okay, so in this part, we hope green recycling will boost the overall national economy. By analyzing different economic models and interviewing business and experts, we will study how taxes and investments in recycling industry, such as companies to extract the important valuable metals from old phones, can create jobs and help revitalize the market. So now I will going to do a conclusion with PESTEL framework. As for political, if in Taiwan can develop its own green e-waste recycling system instead of exporting waste, it will improve international reputation. And as for the economy, if we in Taiwan, we hope the recycling tax will reduce new phone purchases and increase second phone usage of consumers. At the same time, we also have to prevent companies from passing tax costs to consumers. And as for the social parts, we have to encourage prolonged use of mobile phones for foster sustainable consumption habits and consider the affordability of different income groups.
And for the technology part, we will promote refined technologies, and we also design recyclable products that are easily to repair. And for the environmental part, we will reduce e-waste pollution that will be burden on other countries, and we also reduce carbon emissions and enhance resource cycling. And for the legal part, we will have fair tax systems and environmental laws, and also we want to ensure international compliance and also establish a complete recycling systems.
Okay, so this is about our budget plan. So our total budget is about £250,000. Our market research and consumer tax testing is about £100,000, and it's mainly about survey tools and platforms. And as for our industry tax feasibility study, it's about £75,000, and it's about industry outreach and engagement. And as for our policy design and economic impact analysis, it's about £50,000, and it's mainly about economic modeling software and tools. Lastly, it's about admin and other costs. It's about £25,000. So this is about our budget plan.
And this is our project timeline. At the first beginning of our research, we will collect and verify from reliable sources, and then we will perform a detailed analysis. And as our customers part, we will design tax system based on the Taiwanese market, and then we will conduct a small-scale pilot. And as the business part, we will refine tax rate calculation and access flexibilities. And as the customer's part, we will gather feedback and make adjustment and implement it nationwide.
This is about our references, and please take a look. So finally, I would like to say your support will contribute to our research and ensure the real-world impact. So I'm Tina.
I am
Thank you for your listening.